What is up, guys? It is Orca Flop, and today I'm coming at you with another video. And today we are doing something that's very old that not many people do anymore. It was like a trend about, I'd say, like 3 weeks ago or something like that. So I'm sorry for being late on this and not keeping up with the trends, so to speak. But I figured I have time on my hands, so I figured I'd make a fun video for you guys. And I know a lot of you have asked me about Formula One and what my opinions are on Formula One drivers, teams. Some of you wanted me to make race reviews. Truth of it is, though, I've been more focused on IndyCar for the main fact it's May, and Indy 500 has been a hot topic as of recent. But I figured since I have time on my hands, I'd make you guys this fun little video for my Formula One driver tier maker. This is about the closest thing you're going to get to F1 coverage for me. If I have time, I'll start making F1 race reviews, but right now I don't know. But here you go, F1 driver tier maker. So here we go. We're going to click on Formula One driver tier maker. Here we go. So here are the categories. We got love, like, meh, dislike, fuck this guy. So, without further ado, let's get started. So, we got all the drivers here from, all the teams: Mercedes, Ferrari, Red Bull, Racing Point, McLaren, Sauber, and Williams. And I believe the first one on here is, it looks like a Toro Rosso driver. That looks like Alexander Albon. What do I think of Alexander Albon? He's a good driver. What did he get, like 6 at Azerbaijan or something? He drove really well at Azerbaijan. I don't remember where he finished, though, but Albon did really well at Azerbaijan, and he's kind of been the driver to been carrying Toro Rosso. So he has that on his shoulder. Yeah. Albon's a good driver. I think out of the two drivers of Toro Rosso, he is the guy that's been carrying. But I don't really have a thought on Albon. I don't hate him, but I don't like him either. So I think we're going to take Albon and put him in the meh category. So, have it be that. Valtteri Bottas. Oh my god. I don't hate Bottas, nor do I like him. But my god, this guy has literally been screwed over by Mercedes for the last 2 years since Rosberg left after 2016. The guy keeps getting hand-assed over to Hamilton. And I think by far I've never felt more depressed for Bottas than in the 2018 Russian Grand Prix when he was told to move over for Hamilton. That stuff pisses me off. But I think Bottas this year, he won Australia and he won Azerbaijan. He's trying to prove to Mercedes that he deserves to be there and he can try to put up a fight towards Hamilton. So knowing that, I'm going to put Valtteri Bottas in the light category. Put Valtteri Bottas in the light category because Bottas has been through so much with Mercedes and he's trying to prove himself to everyone. So, Bottas, I do like him. I like how the fact he's trying to take down Hamilton. That's pretty fun. Pierre Gasly. By far one of the worst drivers I've seen in F1 as of recent. Like, the dude's driving for Red Bull, and Verstappen has already 2 podiums over Pierre Gasly, and Gasly's finished 6th the majority of the season. He is the exact opposite of what Daniel Ricciardo was last year, because Daniel Ricciardo would continuously make the Red Bulls work, and he'd continuously outbrake everyone, and just kind of sail it in there and make things work. So, I'm gonna be honest, I don't really care for Pierre Gasly. He's really not that good either. He hasn't proven anything to me. Verstappen, and now that Red Bull has gone to the Honda engines rather than the Aston Martin Tag Heuer power unit, now that they're running Honda engines, that's kind of been a slowdown for Red Bull, but I still think that Verstappen has highly outperformed Pierre Gasly, and Pierre Gasly's probably going to be a bust. So I'm not going to say I hate him, but I do not like Pierre Gasly. Antonio Giovinazzi. What am I supposed to say? He's driving for Sauber, and Sauber is basically Ferrari's Williams now. The dude really hasn't had many times to show success. Um, and for that reason, I don't really have a thought on him. Similar to Alexander Albon, I don't really have any thoughts on him. Like, he just keeps driving in the back. Kimi Raikkonen is outperforming him. Like, what? Raikkonen has 3 top 10s this season in Sauber equipment. China, I think, was the best run I've seen Kimi Raikkonen have for Sauber. But Giovinazzi's kind of just been, like, there. Like, he's just running in the back and kind of doing what the equipment has him do. So, for that, I think I'm going to put Giovinazzi as a meh. Let's see, there we go. Romain Grosjean, by far probably the better driver at Haas. He's kind of, well, Haas, it seems like they've kind of had an up and down year. Like Australia and Spain, they qualified really good and finished really good. I think, though, in Australia, Kevin Magnussen had an issue. But Grosjean has continuously proved, especially at Spain, that he can drive the wheels off the Haas car. The dude, like him and Kevin Magnussen had a great battle, and he was battling with Carlos Sainz at Spain, and he's a wheelman. Like, I think a lot of people underestimate Romain Grosjean because he's at the American team and he's driving for Haas, and no one really cares about Haas, except for us Americans, but like, Grosjean's continuously proved to get results, and I think if Leclerc doesn't prove, or if Leclerc doesn't get at least like 2 wins, or Ferrari doesn't think Leclerc is good enough, I think Grosjean could actually go up to Ferrari. Or they'll either take Grosjean or they'll go with Kimi Raikkonen. So for that, I think I'm going to put Romain Grosjean in the like category. The guy's a wheelman. He's continuously proved himself to be the better Haas driver, and he's really good. Lewis Hamilton. Oh, Jesus. Okay, look. I don't want to hear any racist comments, and I don't want to hear that. I don't hate Lewis Hamilton because he's a black dude. I don't hate him just because of his race, his skin color. Don't hate him because of that. But, dude, Lewis Hamilton has had it easy his whole career. As soon as he started his racing career, he was in top-tier fucking equipment. The guy had it easy. Now, I know you can make the argument, well, Mercedes wouldn't have took him right off the bat if they didn't know he had talent. You could do that with literally any other young driver. Hamilton was the only driver in around 2006, 2007 I've ever seen get picked off straight on the bat by a factory-funded team. Never seen that happen before in Formula One. And Hamilton really has never drove for a Williams or a Toro Rosso. And Hamilton's got, what, 3 wins this season? 3? Yeah, 3 wins this season. China, Bahrain, and Spain. Hamilton's got 3 wins this season. Mercedes has been dominating because Mercedes is fucking God, and Ferrari is doing jack shit about it. So, look, Hamilton, I appreciate the fact of what he does for the F1 community. I think he is a very big impact on the community. He's good. He really is good, but my God, dude, it's like, I've always wondered now, like, Hamilton probably will go down to be one of the most historic F1 drivers out there. But in the end, you got to think about it. He never really started off with like a Williams or a Toro Rosso, Force India. He's never done that. So he was slapped into top-tier equipment. Of course, he's expected to win in top-tier equipment, which he has done. So until Hamilton can really show me he can drive, if he hops in a Toro Rosso for one race and he outperforms that shit, sorry, Hamilton, but you're going to be on the fuck this guy category because he's just annoying. Like, I'm not hating him because he's dominant. I just think he's kind of had it easy and he's kind of been given everything to him. Like, he's not a pay driver, but he's just had it easy his whole career. And it's really annoying to see him get all this hype. Meanwhile, you have guys like Leclerc last year for Sauber. Like, more people were talking about Hamilton continuously winning and proving nothing, rather than Leclerc actually getting top 5s in Sauber. So, next up, Nico Hülkenberg. What do I say? He's the most average driver in F1. Like, yeah. I have no thoughts on Nico Hülkenberg. Like, I definitely think this season Daniel Ricciardo has outperformed him. I can't deny that. But Hulkenberg hasn't shown me that he's a high tier talent. He flipped at Abu Dhabi last year, and he just kind of continues to be mediocre at best. Driving for Renault. Now I understand Renault isn't as good as they used to be in the early 2000s, but you got to think also Fernando Alonso kind of carried Renault back then, but getting 2 world championships, 2 or 3. So, I get it, Renault is as a factory team, they're the worst factory team right now. But you got to think you'd expect to perform at least to Daniel Ricciardo's standards this year. So, I mean, Nico Hulkenberg is going to be another meh. I don't know what to think of him. Robert Kubica, he's driving for Williams. I honestly think Williams has the most tragic story of any F1 team next to Renault, because these two teams used to be powerhouses. I remember when it was BMW Williams and you had Juan Pablo Montoya and Felipe Massa just continuously out driving those cars to victory lane and podiums. Even Ralf Schumacher drove for BMW and Williams. Williams used to be such a powerhouse team that I really think ever since they lost Felipe Massa and Montoya, things have gone down for Williams, and their performance has kind of been diminished, especially now since they got Mercedes engines, and Mercedes is more focused on their factory program than any other team like Racing Point or Williams. So, that being said, I can't hate Robert Kubica. He does what he can with Williams. They're by far the worst team now. They went from being one of the best teams, top 3, to now worst team in F1. So, really sad story for Williams, but I'm sorry, Kubica. I'm going to have to put you in a meh. Kubica, I think, has been in F1 before. Him specifically, he's been in F1, and he's done okay at best, but I don't really have any thoughts on him. Danny Kvyat. I don't like Danny Kvyat. Why? Because he literally is continuously getting overhyped and just talked about more than Alexander Albon. Now, I will admit, he did do pretty well at Spain, making some aggressive moves. But I just think Danny Kvyat is getting a little bit more attention than he deserves over Alexander Albon. I think over the course of this season, from what I've seen already, Albon has been continuously outperforming Danny Kvyat. And for that reason alone, I just think Danny Kvyat's not that great. And plus, he's gotten bad results with Toro Rosso. You see Albon getting top 10s, and then you see Danny Kvyat doing pretty much nothing except for Spain last weekend. So, sorry, Danny Kvyat, but you're going to have to go under the dislike category. I just don't care for him. I think he's getting overhyped when he's not even really that good. Charles Leclerc, the guy who continuously gets screwed over every single week, continuously over and over and over again by Ferrari's ridiculous team orders. Oh my God. Leclerc, look, I thought at first maybe Ferrari was rushing him because I felt like maybe he could use a year at Haas this year and then go up to Ferrari depending on how Raikkonen would do this season. But no, this year Leclerc went straight to Ferrari from Sauber, and I think he did deservingly so now that I think about it, because the dude outperformed Sauber equipment to get a top 5 last season, I believe. Oh no, his highest finish was 6, but still, that is for Sauber equipment, that is incredible. That is outstanding. Sauber is the Williams of Ferrari, or the Ferrari factory organization. And Leclerc's continuously proved to be a wheelman similar to Romain Grosjean. And he's just continuously outperforming. Australia, he made some bold moves on Max Verstappen. Fucking Bahrain, he should have won. God damn it. Bahrain should have been his race. He dominated Bahrain. He led every single lap, and it was probably going to be this season's Ferrari's best run, because it seems like Bahrain is a Ferrari track, and Mercedes didn't have it that race, but God fucking damn it, He lost the fucking cylinder head and lost the race and got a podium. He got his first podium, but at what cost? He lost to Lewis Hamilton because Ferrari's engines continue to be unreliable, and he fucking lost because he lost a cylinder. That's fantastic. Then you go to, China. He makes good moves. What happens? Oh, let Vettel go. Oh, just let Vettel go. Even though Leclerc is setting a better lap than Vettel, let Vettel go. Are you fucking kidding me? No. And then you go to Azerbaijan. How about that ridiculous fucking pit strategy by staying out, 30 laps almost? Almost 30 laps that he was staying out, and he just let Hamilton and Bottas go because he pitted late. And then he put on hard tires, which made it even worse for Azerbaijan as a track. Ferrari, look, I don't like Ferrari as a team. As a team, they fucking suck. And they can, ever since Schumacher left, they made the weirdest decisions. And it's also part of the reason why Alonso left. And I think even Leclerc said in one of his statements that he doesn't like to be at Ferrari, or he's getting annoyed at the team orders. So Leclerc is a wheelman. I'm telling you. The guy can drive. It's just Ferrari doesn't believe it for some reason. They just keep handing it over to fucking Vettel just because Vettel's a world champion. It really pisses me off what Ferrari's been doing with Leclerc. But I do not hate Leclerc. In fact, I love Charles Leclerc. Come on. Love Charles Leclerc. The dude is a wheelman, and he continuously has proved himself, and I feel like he's getting so underwhelmed by the people in the F1 garage, and I'm fucking sick of it. So, Charles Leclerc, you deserve more love. You really do. Kevin Magnussen. He is the son of one of my favorite Corvette racing drivers in IMSA, Jan Magnussen, who is one of the best wheelmans at Corvette racing. And as you know, if you know me, Corvette racing is my favorite team. And IMSA Corvette racing is my favorite GTLM team. And I love Jan Magnussen as a driver. I liked him even when he was driving for Don Panos in the Prototype 1 back in the early 2000s before he even went to Corvette racing. And then, Jan Magnussen he continued to drive the wheels off the Corvettes, and 2009 Laguna Seca was such a heartbreak. He won continuous championships with Corvette racing, and last year's championship with Corvette racing in IMSA, where they didn't win a race at all and won straight off consistency. And then you look at his son Kevin Magnussen here, and Magnussen's been at Haas his whole F1 career, and he really hasn't proved me anything. Like, I love his dad. Jan Magnussen is one of my favorite drivers in IMSA. In fact, yeah, he might be my favorite driver in IMSA. But his son, Kevin, here, hasn't proved me anything. And I don't really... I can't hate him too much because I'm a little bit biased here. But I'll be really honest with you. He hasn't proved me anything, and I don't have any thoughts on him. And he continues to get outperformed by Romain Grosjean. So... I'm going to have to put him in the meh category, because I like him because he's a son of Jan Magnussen, so I'll cheer for him. But at the same time, though, he hasn't really proven me he's a real wheel man. Lando Norris, similar to Danik Viat, has kind of gotten more hype in the McLaren team, and McLaren hasn't been good since Mercedes departed with them in 2015. So I'll be honest with you, Lando Norris hasn't proved anything to me either. He continues to kind of play second to Carlos Sainz. I mean, he's had a couple of good runs this season in terms of McLaren 2019 standards. But once again, he hasn't proved me anything. So, I'm going to have to put him... I don't have any really thoughts on Lando Norris. Yeah, he just wrecked at Spain. And he just, again, similar to Kevin Magnussen, hasn't proved me anything, hasn't made McLaren look outstanding. And for that, he goes in the meh category. I really don't know what to say about Lando Norris. He's just kind of there. He just has those decent top 15 runs with McLaren. And he just, again, he plays second fiddle to Carlos Sainz. So there's nothing much really I can say about Lando Norris. I knew he was a Formula 2 driver and he was pretty good there. I will say, however, he was better than Stoffel Van Dorn. Van Dorn was fucking awful. You know what I mean. Next driver, what is this? Shit, it's a Racing Point driver. Fuck. Okay, Racing Point Sergio Perez and not Esteban Ocon. Ocon's not in the team anymore. Okay. It is Sergio Perez. Perez is probably one of the underrated drivers, I would say, out there. Like, the dude can drive. Like, he drove pretty well for Racing Point last year. Like, he was consistently in the top 10. And at one point with Esteban Ocon, I believe, was it him that got a podium at Azerbaijan last year? I think it was. And he made Racing Point look really strong that day. And he's kind of been sneaking in there and getting some results that I think many other drivers couldn't get with a Racing Point car. Lance Stroll surely hasn't proved me anything with Racing Point. So, honestly, Sergio Perez is a good driver, and he's very underrated. And I think a lot of people underwhelm him for his performance, and he's gotten consistent results. He's always been sneaking up there, like at Azerbaijan when the Red Bulls crash. Like, if a big team driver will crash, I think Sergio Perez is the guy to be there to execute, and a lot of people underwhelm Perez for his talent. So, for that, Perez, you are going in the light category because I like you, and I think you're very underrated, and more people need to appreciate how good Perez is and how he can outperform Racing Point equipment. Kimi Räikkönen, probably one of the best Ferrari drivers that, again, played second fiddle to Sebastian Vettel last year. Räikkönen this season has continuously outperformed Alfa Romeo equipment and proved his place at Sauber, and he's gotten, 3 top 10s this season, continuously outperformed Giovinazzi, and last year he won the U.S. Grand Prix with a really good drive, proving that he still has it and he can still win races. Kimi Räikkönen, again, a lot of people doubt him, and I really hate that. Kind of how, like, people doubted Bottas when he first joined Mercedes. And Raikkonen's been doubted pretty much his whole career, especially since, 2016, I'd say. And Raikkonen deserves more credit because he, again, is a wheelman. He proves that he's still got it. He proved it in the U.S. Grand Prix last year when he won. So I'm not saying he shouldn't have lost his ride because I think Leclerc was ready for Ferrari. But Raikkonen, I think, should at least maybe go to Haas, and then we can see how he does. I think Raikkonen deserves to be at Haas rather than Sauber. So Raikkonen is a wheelman. He's continuously proved. He's gotten 3 top 10s with Sauber this season. He's pulling a Charles Leclerc last year. Like, Raikkonen still has it, guys. He's not done. So, yeah, shit. Raikkonen's going in the light category. Next is Daniel Ricciardo, NASCAR's favorite F1 driver because he drives number 3 because of Dale Earnhardt. Daniel Ricciardo, here's the thing. Daniel Ricciardo is probably the most hit-or-miss F1 driver I know. One minute he will have a mechanical failure and DNF really bad and make the team look bad. Another minute, like Spain, he'll have a good run and he can prove that he's a wheelman. And at China last year, he proved he was a wheelman because he didn't have a mechanical failure and he was driving through the field and making really bold and aggressive moves. He's probably been the only F1 driver I've really seen to make the biggest, braking points. Like, he brakes so late, and that allows him to be faster. And, Ricciardo's a very, very aggressive driver. And I think he gets underrated. He's underrated. Well, no, he's not underrated, because I think Ricciardo is pretty popular, especially after he won Monaco last year in 2018. But that's because also Red Bull is really good at Monaco. But other than that, Daniel Ricciardo has proved himself to be a driver of worthiness, and I don't understand why he left Red Bull, because I think this season Daniel Ricciardo could have had a season to remember if he stayed with Red Bull. You already see how Verstappen's doing. So Ricciardo is going to go in the light category because he can drive. Oh, shit, I forgot. Who's the other Williams driver besides Robert Kubica? Is it Russell? Shit. I think it's Russell. Yeah, it is Russell. I don't know what to say about Russell. Like, he hasn't... Again, similar to Robert Kubica, he's driving for Williams. Williams used to be a powerhouse, and now they're not. Yeah, so... what do I say about Russell? I mean, like, he's done nothing this season. He's just done what you got to do at he's done what he has to do at Williams. Just kind of piggy it in there and just do something. That's what he's got to do. He's doing something. So cool. He's gonna go in the meh category. Dude, like, I don't know what to say about him. Like, was he in Formula 2 or in Formula E? He must have been. Like, he must have done really good at those in order to get to Williams for Formula 1. He must have done good at some point in his career to get up to Williams and F1 in general. But, like, you can't really outperform Williams. There's nothing special about it. Carlos Sainz, he did mediocre at best with Renault. But this year, I think he's making McLaren look really good. He ran great at Spain. He made 2 great passes on Daniel Kvyat and Kevin Magnussen at Spain and got a great result. But other than that, he's kind of been... he blew an engine at Australia, and he's had some other inconsistencies along the line, and he just really hasn't been able to prove it. So, like... I don't know. Carlos Sainz, he'll either have a really good run. He's similar to Daniel Ricciardo, but I don't really have many thoughts on him because I haven't seen Carlos Sainz like hop into a Red Bull or a Mercedes or a Ferrari. So for that, I think I'm going to put him in the meh category. Lance Stroll, you are a fucking pay driver who does not deserve to be in F1. Lance Stroll did nothing at Williams. He's doing nothing at Racing Point right now, and he did virtually nothing in Formula 2. The dude has got his dad, he's probably the biggest pay driver in Formula 1, and I'm sure if once Valtteri Bottas gets the boot, it'll be Lance Stroll that goes up there because his dad has got money shoved up his ass, and he'll just hand it over to the Mercedes factory executive officers. So, Lance Stroll has deserved nothing. His name sounds bad too, Lance Stroll. It sounds like a pay driver, a driver who's talentless. He's not good. He hasn't proved me anything. And he's just really bad. Sergio Perez has had such better runs than him at Racing Point this season, kind of just proving that he doesn't really belong. So for that, he's going in the fuck this guy category because I'm annoyed by him. I really don't think Lance Stroll deserves a place in F1. He's done nothing. Literally nothing. Especially this season. He's not outperformed Racing Point whatsoever. And he's continuing to be the biggest paid driver in Formula 1. My boy Max Verstappen. Now, Max Verstappen has had a lot of controversy because he's made bonehead moves and being too aggressive on the racetrack. But if you look at it from a deep perspective, Max Verstappen is probably one of the top 3 most talented drivers in Formula 1 right now. And I'm not saying that just because I'm a Max Verstappen and Red Bull fan, I'm saying that because Max Verstappen has constantly proven us that he can outdrive Ferraris. He's literally, this season, he's been sneaking into those podiums. He's got 2 podiums this season. And Verstappen continues to prove himself worthy of being at Red Bull and continuing to prove himself that he is the star at Red Bull right now. He's continuously been outperforming Gasly this season, and Verstappen is a wheelman. He can drive, similar to Leclerc. Monaco last year, he had to start in the rear. He was, virtually the only car at Monaco making passes until, I believe, he hit Leclerc near the last lap. But other than that, Verstappen, yes, he's made bonehead moves, and yes, I think Verstappen now has learned that. But Verstappen continues to be one of the best drivers in F1 with the aggressive moves. You look at China this year when he outbroke Sebastian Vettel in the tightest corner of the track and drag raced him. That's what we call talent. If he has the ability to be that aggressive and drive that hard, I think you are a fantastic driver. And Verstappen is one of the very few F1 drivers that isn't afraid to make a move and make a pass. So for that, Verstappen is going in the love category, along with Charles Leclerc. Alright, there we go. Last but not least, probably a guy I would just like to flip off one day, Sebastian Vettel. I've never seen a driver get more privilege from an individual team than Sebastian Vettel. Like, literally every single race, even when Raikkonen was on the team, and even some, like, when will Vettel stop getting privilege from Ferrari? Like, can you answer me that? When will he stop? Because literally, Vettel has been, Ferrari's giving Vettel everything. There hasn't been one time I've seen where Ferrari really says, hey, let Leclerc go, except for Spain early in the race. But then again, they let Vettel go ahead. You look last year, they always had Raikkonen yield over for Vettel to go. Now, I understand the race team strategies with Ferrari and wanting to have Vettel get ahead because Vettel is the one who is carrying the championship points. But in the end, Max Verstappen has now passed up Vettel in championship points, and Vettel continues to have probably his worst drives I've ever seen him in his career. Vettel was fantastic at Red Bull, and he got the majority of his world championships with Red Bull. And then I actually thought Vettel was a very talented driver. And Vettel, like Lewis Hamilton, is a talented driver. It's just he keeps getting privilege like Lewis Hamilton does at Mercedes, and it's really annoying because I don't like team orders. I wish the teams, the factory teams especially, like Mercedes and Ferrari, would let the other driver have a chance at going at it for the win. And if that was just what happened, then I probably wouldn't have a problem with either Vettel or Hamilton. But for that reason, I'm so sick of Leclerc getting screwed over because Ferrari wants Vettel to go. They want Vettel to get ahead because Vettel's the world champion. He's the one with the rings. Like, stop it. Like, let them race for fuck's sake. Like, there's nothing much I can say about Vettel that I like about him. Like, cool, he's got talent. I know he's got talent because he's a world champion. He won with Red Bull. And he's done good at Ferrari last year. Oh, except for all those times he's choked up to Lewis Hamilton. You know, even though Vettel, like, has marketed the most talented driver in F1 next to Lewis Hamilton, then how come is it that the last 2 years where Ferrari has virtually had the better car and chassis than Mercedes, Vettel continues to do fucking nothing. And he keeps choking and choking and choking every single race, trying to get by Hamilton. You know, so fuck you, Vettel. I'm sick of Ferrari giving him everything and giving him all the glory. Because if you ask me, Leclerc has done a hell of a lot better than Vettel this season. So, Vettel, you're going in the fuck this guy category. And that's going to wrap it up for my Formula 1 driver tier maker. I hope you guys enjoyed. I think I'm going to share this on Twitter as well and say, hey, I made a video. Oh, Jesus, I've been recording for 32 minutes. I'm sorry about that. They're going to be 33 minutes. But let me know in the comment section what you think. If you like F1 or not, let me know in the comment section. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.